Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wavy Baller Hub. Oh my goodness, Manchester United 2, Liverpool 1. I cannot believe I am saying that right now. I am I'm literally lost for words. I'm literally lost for words. Excited, hype. Man, what a game of football. I coming into this game literally wrote us off. But that's why football is such a beautiful game, man. That is why football is such a beautiful game. We are ahead of Liverpool in the table, ladies and gentlemen. I want to repeat, we are ahead of Liverpool in the table 3 games into the season. I have guests with me. They're probably going to be able to talk more than me. I'm too hyped right now. I can't lie. I'm a little too hyped. But I got some great guests with me that are going to help me break down this game, talk about it from start to finish, all the good things that happened. I got my guy Mark with me. I got my guy Hammer with me. What is good, bros?
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, like it
Oh,
was due. It was due, innit? It was due. Like the way
oh
football
my.
works, yeah. The way football works.
Oh,
If we had beaten Brighton and Brentford, yeah, we would have lost today's game. But because of the way energy and life is, yeah, there's only going to be one result today. There's
yeah.
only going to be one result today.
Wow. Mark, you're not wrong about that, bro. I think that I want to start with Ten Hag and what he did. He made some big decisions. Dropped his captain Harry Maguire, dropped Cristiano Ronaldo, played Elanga up top, played Rashford, played Sancho, dropped Fred, brought in McTominay. Probably a lot of us wouldn't have been fans of that. And everything he did, took off Shaw, brought on Malacia. Every single move he made was spot on to a T, right? Started the game with energy, started the game with fervor, we're pressing from the front, all of the things that we want. Let's just start with the first 10 minutes, right? I was stunned with the amount of energy we showed. Obviously, not playing Ronaldo, we're going to be a much better pressing side. But we were so locked in, from start to finish. As soon as first ball that gets kicked, Dallo, right, puts a head in, just to set a tempo, set a precedent, make some big tackles, right? It's just an absolute whirlwind. Hammer, what did you think about? Let's just talk about that first half. What did you think about the game? Forget the first half. What did you think about this game as a whole? What do you think about this game as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I think I tweeted out when we tweeted it, the link and everything about it being a reaction and a statement, that type of thing that we needed. And then I think and I could only imagine this last week was probably Ten Hag laying into them about how poor it's been the first 2 games.
Right.
So it was there, and then I think especially those players who got brought in for the ones who were, yes, some of them shockingly dropped. They all had something to prove. They all had something to say, like, right. And then maybe Dallo not necessarily drop, but Dallo sees that there's an opening there, so now he knows he has to prove something. So I think it was a
Right.
little bit of chip on the shoulder for some of them for how bad we've been the last few games, and then also seeing openings in positions that they can go and take. And then I think the attitude is right. Like you said, from the first 10 minutes, you saw them really trying to go at it instead of just be like, okay, let's play scared. Let's just wait and see if we can knock it over the top of them or something like that. And yes, we were doing certain things like that at times, but that was just part of the game. And then the two things that I was noticing, one, which was the passing, right? It wasn't a lot of side to side and back, only when we needed to, right? A lot of times we were looking at whether it was Martinez on his left foot,
Mm,
continue, right? Like he would, even if it was coming back to him, he would hit it one shot to try to see if he can get it to Rashford or to Ericsson or to Bruno, whoever was up there. Um, and then the thing that I think I tweeted it earlier on, which is I like how you started the question too about the first 10 minutes, right? I saw it in the first 10, 20 minutes. From yes, the pressing from was high on the front foot, but the
yeah.
midfield and the defense were the way they were pressing is what I like because not only they
Mm,
were coming up together, but especially the defenders, they were coming up pressing, and whether they got a foot on it, whether they got them to just pass it back, right, or whether they poked it away, they turned and ran back and got back in
right.
position, right? They weren't people just
Right.
coming up pressing aimlessly and leaving spots open.
Right.
So that's what I wanted to see, and I think, of course, Liverpool grew more into the game, but I was watching it for the whole time, and I think more or less it stayed for most of the match. which I was what I wanted to see if they were going to drop off in the second half, and
Right.
I think they kept it pretty well. So that was what I liked a lot. The defense was solid, and that press was disciplined, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, no, all great points, Hammer. All great points. Guys, over 7 people watching with us. Make sure to drop your thoughts in the comments. Drop your feelings about this game. Who are some of the players that really really were exciting for you? I'm looking at the first goal right now. Literally, Lissandro is the one who kind of started it off. Got a ball. I can't remember who passed it to Alanga. I'm looking here right now. Alanga gets behind the defender, plays a beautiful ball into Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho makes magic happen, puts Milner on the floor. Van Dijk is caught in no man's land. Beautiful goal.
For Alanga, it was a 1-2 with Eriksen on the edge.
Eriksen, there we go. Yeah, okay, that's who it was. Eriksen, man. I'm looking at Milner and Van Dijk going at it. Oh man, this is like a dream. This is like a dream. I can't even believe it. I think Liverpool, I don't think they expected that level of energy. I think they probably would have expected us to sit back a bit. And we were so organized. I don't know what it has to be the submark. What made you? Obviously, it's a derby game. You're gonna get up for that game, but the organization from the front players. You know, if Malacia pressed up, Rashford would drop in, and vice versa. If Dalot pressed up on his defender, Sancho would drop in and cover for him. Like, what are your thoughts on just the organization, right, from start to finish? I think this is the most organized I've seen us in over a year.
First thing, I'm like during the game, I remember tweeting just something very subtle, but I just said being competitive is non-negotiable. That's the first.
Right.
That's the first thing that should always be like the moment you get onto the pitch, that should just be compulsory. Like, being competitive is non-negotiable. If you're not willing to be competitive, don't play.
Right.
And one of the things that stood up to me was intensity and the aggression in what we was doing. In like the previous games, there was no aggression, there was no intensity, but it also helped that we had the right profile of players. So, for instance, Varane and Martin, the balance of those two was beautiful. Like,
right.
I don't want to sort of like slander Maguire and whatnot, but he can't. He's immobile. He doesn't move his feet quick enough. He's someone that when he like vacates his space, he panics. He does he's exposed. But people like Varane, Martinez, they're comfortable because they know they've got the ability to defend 1v1, and they know they have the ability to recover. So instantly you have people behind you that can close a space. So if McTominay or Eriksen goes to press, you can move up as a unit, and that's something that we did. That's something that we did very well today, as opposed to like the other games, because the gaps in the other games was too huge. Like, no, when you see Maguire push up, Maguire doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Maguire, his real estate is in his own box. The moment he leaves his own box, he feels like he's homeless, bro. Like he's been evicted. Like, but Varane and Martinez, they're comfortable in that space. They know, like, I think the first 5 minutes, Martinez stepped out and let Mo Salah know he was, this is my
he gave him the
bump. Yeah, he gave him the bump. Say,
Salah was not happy. Not happy. He came back with an elbow.
That was like sort of like the most recognizable thing, like the gap between sort of the units, I should say, was sort of like the transition was easy to close the gap, and obviously working hard. Like Alanga worked hard, Sancho worked hard, Rash, he had some intensity about him.
Yeah,
but as a team, we just worked hard, and I think that's probably what Ten Hag will be like most impressed about. Like, to see today, it wasn't necessarily about sort of like fancy football or sort of like amazing tactics. It was just the basics of football. Be competitive. Everyone win your duel. 1v1 win your duel. Even someone like Malacia, like, as opposed to Shaw. So one thing I've really noticed about Malacia is that he gets really, really tight. Like, the moment the ball comes to his winger, he's up your arse. Whereas Luke Shaw, he invites you off the ball. Luke Shaw, like, he waits, he invites you to cross the ball, and then before you know it, we've conceded. Something that Luke Shaw's been doing for years, years upon years. We saw the difference today with Malacia. Like he didn't give. Anytime Salah turned, he probably would almost,
He was
anytime
there.
Salah turned, he probably almost would have kissed Malacia. That's how close he was. Like they were literally in a phone booth together.
Yeah. No, you're Mark. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I think that you mentioned a lot of good things. One, we had pace across the back four, right? Varane with the recovery run. So if Martinez pressed up, right, Varane is, they were in synergy, and this is the first time they've played together, mind you. Like this is the first time they've actually played together, and there was a synergy there. Malacia, same thing. Salah, like think about this. Salah scored a goal, but he was non-existent this game. Like actually, I forgot he was playing for most of the game. I forgot he was playing for most of the game. How many times can we actually say that, right? About he is the best forward in the league, right? Let's just be real. Mo Salah is the best forward in the league. Absolutely non-existent today, right? Can Maguire?
Sorry to cut you off, but the same goes with Dallo as well. Like Dallo's not usually really that aggressive, but today he was more aggressive.
I tweeted it. Yeah,
defending I've ever seen him. So
I tweeted that too. I said I have never seen Diogo Dallo show this like much want to when it comes to defending. Right. He doesn't have a lot. He's not blessed with pace. Like say a Wan-Bissaka who is pacier than him, or Malacia, right? But he was really smart. He was intelligent in the way he was pushing Diaz in different places, making Diaz uncomfortable, getting tight to him. Right. And it was just a really well-rounded performance, right? Tactically, again, let's talk about that. Erik ten Hag, halftime comes, he takes off Alanga, he brings on Martial. So smart. So smart. We needed someone who can hold the ball up. Rashford, he played. I'm not going to give Rashford any slander because I think he did work hard and he played well. But Rashford's a left winger, right? We needed someone to hold the ball up. That's immediate. As soon as Martial got onto the pitch, that's what he brought for us. Held the ball up, and that's how the second goal came about, right? He turned. I think who did he turn? Was it Gomez or Van Dijk that he turned? I think it was Gomez.
Van Dijk, because Van Dijk's a left in the back.
Yeah, exactly. So he turns Van Dijk. Rashford, beautiful run, and it's almost an elementary school pass from Martial once he made that turn, right through for Rashford. Rashford has, it's not an easy chance, by the way, because Alisson, I think, comes up perfect at the perfect time, and he has to. It's a cool finish at the end of the day by him. I'm looking at Erik ten Hag right now. He's talking to Roy Keane. He's talking to Jamie Carragher. Talking to Gary Neville. I'd be interested to see what after this match reaction. What's going on there?
I've just looked at my phone, and apparently he said we played fucking good football.
Yeah, is that what he said?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Madison Smith in the comments says, I'm assuming this is an Arsenal fan. Yep, this is an Arsenal fan. Great result for United, but I don't think Liverpool can afford to go forward without getting at least another midfielder. Milner and Henderson doesn't work.
Well, they had their injuries.
Yeah, they were injured. Cool. I'm at the end of the day, I don't care. Like,
no, I don't care. I'm just saying.
I know.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I get over it. At the end of the day, like, they still have tons of quality on that pitch, right? We still like our mid. Obviously, Casemiro was in the building today. He's gonna slot it right for McTominay, right? That's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be Casemiro and probably Eriksen playing in that midfield. And I'm excited. Obviously, I can't remember being. We've had a lot of dark days as Manchester United fans, right? Like a lot of dark days. This is a great way to kind of erase the first couple weeks of the season. Honestly, it gives us a springboard to kind of go forward, right? Beating a Liverpool. Again, back to the tactics. We held the ball up well. Liverpool did come into the game. I thought De Gea made a really critical save, a couple critical saves, right? There was one he made with his feet that was excellent. He made a really good save for the, right before the goal happened. Unfortunately, it was just unlucky. I'm not even blaming the defenders for that. I mean, Eriksen, he missed a header, right? But it was just kind of a scrappy, unlucky goal, right? I'm not even.
Yeah, I'm not even. It was a rebound goal. It was
right. Just a scrappy, ugly goal. But I want to get into player ratings, right? I want to get into player ratings, but actually, no. Before we do that, let me get your thoughts. I'll go with Hammer first on just the tactics by Ten Hag and what he employed, right? Throughout the course of the game. What did you like, and what did you like to see?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. Obviously, he had the right approach coming into going against a team like Liverpool. But I think what I liked is, and I think Mark might have brought it, is the unity and how everything was going, right? And I'm like I said, I'm sure he was being very very strict on the instructions he was given this week coming up to this game, especially off the last two games. So I think the unity that they showed in all of their pressing, and then also, I mean, I know it's not necessarily fully tactic stuff, but it seemed like they were trying, like when they all saw opportunities, they weren't thinking, oh, I don't know about that pass, or they weren't
Mm-hmm.
hesitating. They were going and they were
Mm-hmm.
taking the opportunities. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it was a good approach, and it was good that the team finally was able to execute something that Ten Hag wanted. And I'll say, certain, and people bring it up, certain people were dropped, and we, even if he gave those directions, if certain people were playing, we might not have gotten that type of performance or that type of discipline as a team as a whole.
Right.
Um, so I think this is the closest we've seen to what Ten Hag probably wants. Hopefully, there's some more stuff coming in. Like Casemiro is going to be
Mm-hmm.
going into that midfield, and he's probably going to be able to keep that in more of a cool-headed way in terms of controlling the ball and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, I like the way he did it, and the team finally had the discipline to do what Ten Hag wanted them to implement.
Right. Right. Mark, what did you think about the tactics today?
I don't think it was like anything mind blown or anything sort of like um extraordinary. It was quite pragmatic. I think one thing I will say is that you got to give Ten Hag credit in the sense where in Brighton and Brentford he stuck to his principles and it got him in trouble. Whereas today he kind of showed the ability to adapt and said, look, Liverpool will play this way. They'll give you um chances and they'll give you space. And he utilized that by playing Alanga, who I'm not the biggest fan. You've probably seen my tweets and stuff. I'm not his biggest fan, but he's an honest player.
Yeah.
He will give you 110%, and Ten Hag utilized it. And I thought Ten Hag's use of him was really good. Like 45 minutes, you created a goal. You probably don't have the quality to give us much more. Take
Mm-hmm.
him off, shift
Mm-hmm.
Rashford out wide, and I thought when Marshall came on, I thought he was really, really good. Like he held onto
Mm-hmm.
the ball. Um, just like his appreciation of like sort of like the weight of pass. I mean, the way he was just sort of on his toes for the second goal. Like Rashford was a bit flat footed, and I think Van Dijk found it a lot easier defending against him because Rashford, he's not a striker. He's not a striker. He doesn't necessarily have like the IQ of a striker.
Right.
Where like Marshall was sort of like on his toes and holding the ball up, and he showed his ability to sort of like um he showed his awareness, I should say,
Mm.
when he laid it on for Rashford. But yeah,
No, that great points. I think I agree with what you're saying, Mark, on the overall. It wasn't like he had some genius like formation or anything like that. For me, it was more so the game management, right? I think that's what was brilliant, right? Like you
yeah,
mentioned, I know you don't hate Elanga. I don't dislike Elanga as much as I think the masses do. I think he can do a job for us, which is sometimes what you need in football. Sometimes you just need, especially when you have talent, right? Like sometimes you just need a guy who can do a job, track back on your defender, stretch the defense, which I think he did against Trent, right? I really think Elanga, even though he's not the most talented winger in terms of he doesn't have a lot of skills in his locker like Rashford does, or he doesn't have the IQ of a Martial, right, on that left-hand side when Martial does play there. But he does have pace. He does have electricity. He had a great chance that he missed, right? Great
yeah,
chance that he missed.
Uh,
He could have had a goal and assist in the first half, right? And players like that, like just to do a job for you, right? It goes a really long way. I think he made subs at the right time, like you mentioned with Martial. The players he chose in particular positions, like overall, like it was just a very tidy, well managed game by the manager. Like the subs that he put on late, right? Wan-Bissaka just knock the ball long when you get it. Just kick it, right?
Yeah.
Ronaldo, had his moments where he could have done things. And Van de Beek held the ball up well at certain times. Let's get in the comments here. Bruno was lucky he wasn't sent off.
Yeah.
Bro,
He held on to the ball for
yeah, it
so
was close.
long.
We're gonna get into player ratings right now, guys. Bruno worries me. He almost cost us the game. Maguire is holding bench for some time. Yeah, I could not agree more with that one. Maguire and Shaw done out here. No, it's not looking good for some players that were benched today. Let's get right into the player ratings. We'll be quick. Let's try and keep it to like a minute for our reactions. But we'll start with David De Gea. I'll start with this one. I'll give De Gea a 7 today. Obviously, he didn't get his clean sheet. He made one mistake for me. Like he made a pass to Varane that he really should not have.
Yeah.
Could have been suicidal. Varane handled it relatively well. He made some crucial saves with his feet. Another really good save off the back of, I can't remember who. I don't remember who made a header or something. Yeah. So I'm gonna give De Gea a 7. I think it was a solid performance by him. His distribution, I think Ten Hag said knock it long, right? That was the target. But shot stopping, I thought he was really good today. How about you, Mark?
I'll give him an 8. To be fair, I felt like like the times he had to sweep, he did sweep. A couple times from corners, he came and punched it. Again, like you said, his shot stopping was good. The only time like he did kind of worry me was sort of that pass to Varane. But other than that, he did really well, man.
Yeah. Hammer, what about you?
I'll go more so on Temi's side of it, 6 or 7. I didn't think he was amazing, but he didn't have, some of the stinkers he's had in the first couple. And then, I do kind of agree with some of the points Mark was bringing up. He was technically coming off his line a little bit better than he usually has. And then, some of those saves in those sticky moments were some crucial saves. So, I'll give him a 6 or 7 somewhere in there.
Nice. Drizzy Des says 5. That is so harsh for me. That's so harsh, my guy. I think that is extremely harsh. At right back, we'll go with Diogo Dalot. Hammer, you start with this one. What do you think about Dalot's performance?
I want to give him a 7, but I think I might go a little higher, give him an 8, just because he showed that he wants to take that position. And I think he understands how important the defensive side is, especially in his game. And to me, it seemed like he was caring more about the defensive end than trying to do some step overs all the time and get a cross in, which I appreciate.
Right.
Because we know he can put a cross in every now and then and stuff, but it's the defense we want to see.
Right. That's a great point. Mark, what do you think about Dalot's performance? And guys, get your thoughts in the comments on the player ratings as well for those watching. What did you give Dalot today, Mark?
I'll give him a 7. Attacking wise, he wasn't amazing, but I think he was more concentrated on the defensive side. Defensively, he was good. At times he was a bit overzealous. Like sometimes, like he wasn't using his brain, but a strong 7.
Yeah.
A good defensive performance by him.
Yeah. I would probably say 7 too. Honestly, we didn't need him to go forward today, so I'm not even too much. I'm not too worried about that, right? His job was, nullify Diaz, get tight to Diaz. Put your knee into his back, right? Make him uncomfortable, foul him when need be. And I think he did all of those things. There was maybe one time I was worried, but he handled it great. There was one time he showed Diaz outside. I'm like, does he have the pace to recover and get this block? And he did it. I was like, wow, okay, this is. I mean, he's locked in today, right? I can't really think about any major mistakes. Like you said, Mark, I think he was just a little overzealous, which is understandable, right, in a game of this magnitude. But I think seven's a fair score. 8 by Hammer. Guys, get your thoughts in the comments on Diogo Dalot. Next to Diogo Dalot was Rafael Varane. Mark, well, I'll start with you. What were your thoughts on him?
Varane. You know what? I think he aesthetically, when he defends, he doesn't look amazing. He kind of looks kind of clumsy in the way he defends, but he's so clean with it. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
so,
no, I know exactly. Just
it's like he looks flustered, but he just wins the ball. Like everything he does is just very clean, and it makes no sense because it's like he doesn't sort of like offset panic, but then like he doesn't look like he's like sort of like authoritative in what he's doing, but he's just so clean with it. Like today, like aerially, he was colossal. I think he must have won every single aerial duel he was involved in.
Right.
On the ball, he wasn't that great, but like the front foot defending was really good as well, man. Like anytime sort of like Bobby tried to turn, he was just there. Yeah, man, he was really good. So I'll give him an 8. I'll give him. Okay, are we doing halves? Can I give him an 8?
You know what? I'm gonna. This season we're gonna do halves. We're gonna do halves.
I'll give him an 8.5 then.
Okay, I'm gonna give him an 8. I'm gonna give him an 8. I think that a lot of the things you mentioned, right? One, he has recovery pace, right? That is so critical in this system that Ten Hag wants to play going forward. Like you mentioned, he's a little bit awkward, right? I've watched. I'm pretty sure we've watched a ton of him at Real Madrid, right? He was never the person who was progressing the ball forward. It was always Ramos, right? Because Ramos is the one who had the better feet, right? But he had the recovery pace. He'd be the sweeper essentially, right? And we're seeing that right now. Like he was really good today. Like you mentioned, won every aerial duel, was extremely composed. It looks clumsy, but it's effective, right? And that's all that matters at the end of the day. I have to give him an 8. I can't really think of anything else to give him. The whole back four was excellent, and we'll get to the rest of them in a second. But Hammer, what did you think?
Yeah, man, I'll go with an 8 as well. I think the clumsiness is just him. Like also like his facial reactions to some things. I think that's just who he is and his personality was. But yeah, you're right. It comes off smooth, however it is he likes to play, and I think he did exactly what. It's funny because I think how I was looking at it, did exactly what Ten Hag mentioned in the I don't know if you guys saw it in the pregame. He said, Varane's going to give that pace and everything like that, but he's also going to give that communication and help organize the back. And I think the back looked pretty organized today. And to me, at least, I saw Varane was definitely talking a lot. So,
yeah, sorry to cut you, but I think Ten Hag said something about leadership and mentioned Varane and mentioned Bruno. So that's quite interesting.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Next on the list, Martinez. I'm going to start with this one. 9. And honestly, I just don't give people 10s. So he's not going to get a 10, but 9. He was absolutely brilliant. He is my man of the match. I just can't give it to anybody else. Like, after a tough start to his Manchester United career, obviously lost to Brighton, he wasn't good against Brentford. He got subbed off at halftime. To come back and play in the biggest derby in English football and perform at that level I'm talking about everything, his passing, his aggression, winning the ball back, tackling, no fear, set the tempo, set the precedent with Liverpool saying, I'm here today. You guys are going to have a long day. Sal, you're going to have a long day. Firmino, you're going to have a long day, right? Won his aerial duels. Was great. He was great in the air today. I mean, all the talk that the British media wanted to do, making fun of his height and all that, he proved everybody wrong today. Obviously, it's still early in his career, but you can't ask for a better performance from a center back at this level. Seriously. 9 with no questions asked. Hammer, what about you?
I am a former center back. I absolutely fucking love the way Martinez was playing. I also love how Malacia, but we'll get to him. The way Martinez was playing today, not only the quality, but the freaking aggressiveness, the attitude. It was an old school center back performance today for me. He was just coming in and he was ready to crush people. If 10s are what we're saying are rare, I'd give him a 9.5. He was my man of the match as well. He played great and played exactly how I like center backs to play. And I tweeted as well because Varane caught some cramps too. That's what I want to see from my defense, and it's definitely my center back, that they were running their asses into the ground so hard that when we're in stoppage time, they're getting cramps.
Right. No, great point, Mark. I'll let you talk about Martinez too. What was your score for him?
9. I want to give him. I want to.
You want to give him a 9.8?
I'll give him a 5.
Oh my
Man,
goodness.
see these kind of games where like you need a response, you need like leadership, you need someone to just get you going. He's built for those games, man. Like I said before, the first 5 minutes, you just knew what he was on. You just knew the kind of smoke that he was bringing. I think he bumped Salah, and Salah had his arms up in the air, like he was just like,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry, Kadri. I think I know the point you're talking about. Is we talking about when they like slid off the
Yeah.
goal?
Yeah.
I realized it in the interview. I saw not the interview, the replay. Why Salah was mad. While at the end of it, he pushed him in the head.
Oh yeah. No, you just.
I love it, mate. See that's the sort of nastiness that we need.
Shithousery.
Exactly. That's a sort of dark arts that we need in this side. This side has no backbone, and Martinez has shown he's got personality. He's willing to take it there if needs be. And today he was great. Like aerially, he was great. Stepping out, I think there was. I don't know how much times he clamped Salah like in the first minutes.
Tons of times.
But he let him know from early what type of game it was going to be.
Right.
And he was great. Even his passing as well. He looked assured in his passing. I think the goal starts from his pass. I think I can't remember. It does, yeah. And just like even sort of awareness, like when Bruno Fernandes almost scored their own goal, his intellect to get back on the line, like not many people do that.
I think that shit almost took his shoulder out afterwards. He caught it in his armpit or something when he got
right. Oh my goodness!
The intelligence of the second ball to get back on the line when someone would have run off. Like, do you know what I mean? Opposite direction, their job was done. He was brilliant today, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is like the start of something good.
Yes. Manu Edwards says, glory, Man United. Glazers out. Could not agree with that more. Ellie says, glory, Man United. Get your thoughts in the comments, people. If you're watching for the first time, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Mark's information is in the description. I'll put Hammer's information in the description as well. Make sure to support my brothers right here. Tyrell Malacia. I'm gonna go to Hammer first, man. What a first Premier League start. Premier League start.
I'll give him an 8. I'm not gonna go too high up to Martinez level and stuff, but he played great. The way that he plays, I like at left back. Mark was talking about it earlier, right? Like as soon as a winger gets on that ball, whoever gets on that ball, he's on their ass, and he's not giving them space. And I love that. It's the same type of defensive thing as a center back. Like I like that aggressiveness in defense overall. And he does it effectively. You know what I mean? Like every now and then he might get a little bit played out. I think Salah got him a couple times, which is fine because it's freaking Salah. But like we said, Martinez was in there ready to back him up, which I love as well. So yeah, I'll give him an 8, and I want him to keep playing that style. I would like to see him get a little more, and I'm sure it'll come because I'm pretty sure that's part of his game and what we brought him. I want to see a little more on the offensive. You know, he showed us some of it in preseason, so I want to see it. During the regular season.
Yeah. So 8 for you, Hammer. I'll go on this one. I'm gonna give him an 8.5 since we're doing halves this season. I did not allow halves on this show last season. I'm gonna do it this season. 8.5, and this is the reason why. We have to remember. I'm gonna repeat this. This is the best forward in the league. By honestly, there's a kind of a gap. It's like Salah, and then like. You know what I mean? It's a slight drop off, right? He's clearly the best forward in the league. I was a little nervous for Malacia when I saw him in the starting lineup because this is his first Premier League start. Remember, he's a 12 million pound signing, right? And he's going up against, the best forward in the league. Like I keep saying, and I have to give him his credit for that because I think he got spun once. There was only one time I really remember. Okay, he got spun, right? Anytime that Salah did play the ball past him in other instances. He recovered, and he would either knock it out for a corner, knock it out for a throw-in. Like I can't really remember any other time he got turned other than one moment in the first half. But for that to be your Premier League debut, remember Evra's debut, not good, right? It was like a legendary, a very not good debut. We didn't get to see the offensive side of his game today, obviously, because he just wasn't that wasn't his role in the team today, right? But wow, Luke Shaw's in trouble. That is all that is saying. Remember, like Luke Shaw is in big trouble. There's no way he's going to be starting the next game. There's no way that Harry Maguire is going to be starting the next game. This is probably the best performance I've seen from our back four in. When's the last time seriously, like when's the last time the back four has played this good? Plus the goalkeeper. On it, I not last season. Not last season.
I don't want to say before the pandemic.
Not last season. There's that I cannot remember a performance last season from the back four that was that good. I genuinely can't. Maybe Spurs, the 3-0 against Spurs last season. Other than that, I Brentford, the Brentford 3-0 last season, but come on, man. What a performance. My guy Eddie Muchemo here says, hit the like, people. Damn, that felt good. Much love, bro. I'm still on a high, man. I'm going to celebrate tonight. That's all I'm going to say. Let's go into midfield. Scott McTominay. I'll go to Mark. What do you think about his performance today?
He done all right, like he kept it simple.
Mm.
Sometimes simplicity is the most best. Like sometimes simplicity is the best thing, and that's what he done. He kept it simple. One is duels. He was physical he was physical when he needed to be. His passing wasn't expansive, but it didn't necessarily need to be. It was just more win the ball, give the ball to Bruno Fernandes, and he will set the count. He will spring the counter attack with his passing. But yeah, he done all right. To be fair, because of like the way we played, I don't think anyone deserves like anything lower than like a 7. So I'm gonna give McTominay a 7.
Hammer, what about you?
I think Mark's nice because of our outcome. Again, he didn't play terrible, but the 6 was in my head. Not necessarily bad or anything like that. I just don't think he did anything amazing. He had a few tackles and a few interceptions there, which is good. But and I think this is just me being a little bit of a dickhead. Casemiro coming in, and I'm hoping I would like another midfielder. McTominay and Fred are most likely going to be bench players if they are
abolished.
so.
Must be abolished.
Yeah.
That is the word. No, I agree with you, Hammer. I'm going to give him a 6 as well. I will give him credit. The first real chance we had, he created with that through ball to Bruno. So I want to give him credit for that. The one that he played through to Bruno laid it off to Elanga, and Elanga missed that sitter. That was McTominay's pass. But you're right. Like again, 6 is not a bad score. 6 is not a bad score whatsoever. So I want to emphasize that it's average. Or a little above average. I thought he worked hard. His job was to, make things uncomfortable for Milner, make things uncomfortable for Henderson, make things uncomfortable for Harvey Elliott. And I think he did that, right? I don't need my destroyer to be pretty. I don't need it to be, he has a role in the team and he did it. And I think he did it effectively. So I'm going to give him a 6. Guys, get your thoughts in the comments on McTominay's performance. But yeah, so 2 6s and a 7, that's better than what we were giving him a couple weeks ago. So definitely improvement. Christian Eriksen, what were your thoughts on? Actually, I'll start on this one. Christian Eriksen, I'm gonna give him a. This one's weird. This one's tough. I'm gonna give him a 6.5. Maybe I'm being harsh. Only because I think his delivery was really good. But again, we didn't ask him to do that much today. He defended well. Which I think he was his job from my eyes. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Rashford wasn't really tracking back that much, right? I think Ten Hag wanted him to be an outlet, so Eriksen was kind of plugging that hole, where when Rashford wasn't tracking back, right? So he would get onto Alexander Arnold. He would help out with Salah and all that good stuff with Malacia. So he was kind of like Malacia's aide, right? In the wide defensive positions, right? Did what he needed to do. And he did it well, right? Had that great chance from the free kick that Allison made a really, really good save on, by the way. That was going in. And maybe he gets an 8 if that goes in, but it didn't. So I'll give him a 6.5. Mark, am I being too harsh there?
I think you are, I think he's not necessarily known for sort of like rolling up his sleeves
Mm,
and getting stuck in, but what he did do was there was like assurance about the things he was doing. So his passing was on point. Um, he was always showing to like whenever like we need like a spell of possession, he was always showing.
mm,
And yeah, he was just very technically secure in everything he was doing. So I would say like a 7. I would say like
mm,
technically he was secure. He had like he showed some threat with his set pieces, and yeah, I think it was a good performance
mm,
from Eriksen. I think it's one of those performances that were caught underneath the radar.
mm, That's fair. That's fair. I can see why you would say that. Hammer, what do you think?
I was gonna go with 7, but I was thinking about a couple things, so I'm gonna go a little higher and give a
Mm,
7.5,
mm,
just because including the things you guys said, right? He was doing certain things, and I think like some other people today had a specific job, right? That he was doing well, and he was helping out. He was helping controlling with his passes, and I'll give him the extra point 5 because of the free kicks. I think I tweeted, "Holy shit, we have somebody who can deliver a free kick after some
mm,
of his corners and stuff." And that one that almost went in. And then he was the give and go for the first goal with Alenga. That
mm,
Alenga got the
Yeah,
assist. I'll give him the point 5.
mm. No, that's fair. And again, I probably am being a little harsh, maybe because it was a quieter performance
Yeah.
from Erickson. I think that's maybe why I'm not as you know prone to give him a 7 or 7.5. But you guys all made great points. I really cannot argue with what you're saying there. So 6.5 from me, a 7.5 from Hamma, a 7 from Mark. Bruno Fernandez. I'll go with Mark. What were your thoughts on this game?
it's a weird one because there was times where he had like nice flicks and like sort of like off like sort of started like sprang the like counter attacks and stuff like that. But it was just like idiotic moments, like getting caught on the edge of the area. Um,
Uh,
we're winning 2-1, and he's trying to find his mate Ronaldo when Fred's doing the overlap, and he could just keep it simple to wind down time on the clock. Um, the wrong part, like the choice of pass when he got booked for diving. It's a weird one because I, I I say all of these things there, but then he done some good things like sort of like defensively, like he recovered well and like defensively, like there'll be times where he's putting like a last ditch challenge in or something. I'm not gonna say like 6.5, man. Like it's for every good thing he did, yeah, he did like 2 bad things. But up.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm honestly, I think I'm being generous by giving him a 6. Like seriously, and it's only because of those boneheaded moments. Like it's like it's so bad that like even kids who don't understand football would like be like, "What are you doing in this situation?" Like to start the second half, right? Erickson gives him a pass, a simple pass back. He turns the ball over. That kind of jolted Liverpool to begin the second half, and they had some chances. Like you mentioned, Mark, we're trying to close out the game. Why are you kicking it long? Like what there's no we have like there's like 10 seconds left on like or 30 seconds left in the game. Why would you do that? Right? The moment the time he got booked, his touch was poor there. Like his boneheaded decision when he almost caused an own goal, right? I don't like
Mm.
they're just
I don't know what happened there.
like I just don't like there's just so many moments I'm thinking about. And it's like, yes, you're right, Mark. He did win his tackles today. I thought he was better defensively than he normally is. But there's just too many boneheaded decisions. Like it's just way too many. Granted, okay, he made the good run he laid it off to Alenga, could have had an easy assist. But boy, oh boy, sometimes I wonder, hey, should we put Anthony Martial as a 10 and like just I don't know, because it's just like the decision making is so it's just I have no words. Like I genuinely have no words. The decision making is shocking. Hammer, what are your thoughts? What would you give him today?
I'll give him a 6.5 as well, just because I think he played a little bit better than McTominay, who I think I gave a 6. That's my
Mm,
that pothead memory fucking with me, that
mm.
concussion memory. Um, But yeah, I give him a 6.5, and I can't say anything different because I agree. He had some positive times, but there's just a lot of poor things that he does that comes down, like you said, to decision making, right? Like we know he has certain quality that he can play certain passes, he can do those flicks and all that, but you got to know when to do them. But and then I will say, I get it, right? We're trying to run down time with the Ronaldo. I mean, shit, he was in acres of space. All right, he should have hit that pass, and Ronaldo should have had like a little one-on-one easy goal. I don't know
But the
what he
question
should
is
have had.
why. The
No,
question
I
is
get
why.
it.
Yeah,
Why?
you know what I'm saying?
You know what? Yeah, that's poor game management. Because you know what it reminds me of? Yeah, do you know when we beat Man City 2-0? Yeah,
Mm.
and McTominay scored from the halfway line.
Well, yeah, what's his
Yeah,
name? Trying
Yeah,
to
Fred, was
Fred
it
over,
Fred?
Fred overhits the pass in the first place, and then
Right.
Edison picks it up.
It just makes a mistake. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
It's
I'm just saying. I see why he did it as well. All I was saying because I
mm,
think the nearest defender was like on the edge of the box, if I remember correctly, and
right.
then Ronaldo was drifted off to the right in the box. So it
Right.
was like he should have hit that
No,
pass.
he should have made the pass. You're
Yeah,
100% right. Like I agree with that. I agree with that point, but it's like it's just like just think for a second. He's thinking, you know what he's thinking in his head? I can get a goal
an assist. I
contribution
can
here.
get an assist.
That's literally what he's thinking in his head. He's not thinking about winning right there. He's
Yeah.
thinking about let me get an assist. Like the mentality is just so goofy for me sometimes. And it's like you're like Mark said, Fred's right there. Like at worst, Fred holds the ball for another 10 seconds. Liverpool has no chance to get the ball up the pitch. We gave Liverpool another opportunity. It was dumb as hell, in my opinion. Dumb as hell. But let's move on. We're coming up on the hour. We're probably going to finish off right at the hour, hopefully. Who is next? On the right-hand side, it was Jadon Sancho. What a goal. I'm going to give him a 8. I don't think he was in the game a ton, but I thought when he did have his moments to be in the game, he was very tidy on the ball, very neat on the ball. The skill for the goal is just like chef's kiss. Like it's absolute quality. I think this is
Italian hand.
like it's like that is the epitome of Jadon Sancho, right? Composure, skill, quality. And I think this is his arrival goal. Yeah, he scored that goal against City last season, but this is the goal where it's like, okay, this can kind of jumpstart his Manchester United career, and really we can see the best version of him. Because last season he was kind of anonymous. Like I don't think he was. I wouldn't call him poor, but he just wasn't really in games like the way I would want him to be. Same thing to start this season. But I have to give him I'm just gonna give him an 8 because that was beautiful football, and I thought he played, and I thought he defended well. I thought he tracked back excellently, helped out Dallo a lot, Yeah, I mean, what more could I ask for? 8 for Jadon Sancho. Mark, what about you?
I'll give him a 7 just because he wasn't really in the game. But my word, that was a finish. Like he put Milner on his ass. He showed great composure as well.
Right.
But yeah, he wasn't like
I know what
he
you're
put
saying. I know what you're saying.
he put in a shift, but he wasn't really in the game. Do you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
that was a really good finish. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't complain. So I'll give him a. What did I say? I give him a
You
7.
said
Then.
7. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give him a
Hammer,
7.
what about you?
I'll agree with Temi on this one. I'm gonna go with an 8. Yeah, I agree. He wasn't fully in the game today, but when, like Temi said, when he was on the ball, he was doing some good things. He was making some good runs, some good cuts, and knowing when to pass it. And then also, yeah, I like the defensive side of it too. There were some times where and sometimes you get that sideline camera angle where he was the one, and yeah, I guess he was covering for Dallas, but he was the one coming back, and he freaking ran up like a defender, hand behind his back, ready to defend on the sideline. So
Right.
yeah, I'll give him an 8 as well.
Yep. No. Awesome. Next up is Marcus Rashford. Hem, I'll start with you. What would you give him today?
I give him a 7. He had good moments, and he played better than we've seen him recently. I saw some people tweeting that maybe we were seeing some versions of him from from a few years ago when he was really on his level, but I don't think he was fully there yet, but the things that he did, kind of with the Sancho thing, and he was a little more involved. But I think that's just because he was the focal point, on the attack
Right.
as the 9 to start out.
Mm,
But he was making. If you do want to agree with those people who were saying he was looking like his old self, he was
mm,
making. I don't want to say, I don't know, quicker is the right word, but also smarter decisions, right? He wasn't trying to be like, oh, let me do a bunch of dribble moves. He was like, all right, let me get it
mm,
and knock it past you, see if we can keep up. Let me get
mm,
it, make one move, and then try to make a decision.
mm,
So
mm.
I'll give him a 7 because he was playing better and
Yeah,
he was keeping it simple and doing the things that he needs to do.
yeah. Um, I'll go on this one. I think you're being harsh, Hammer. I think you're being a little harsh. I'm gonna give him an 8, and here's why. One, I think that when Bruno made that mistake to start the second half, right? There was there was a lot of pressure from Liverpool. Like they grew into the game off of those. There was two mistakes he made. He made the mistake right to start the half, and then he made another mistake where he gave the ball away that kind of injected stuff. And I think Marcus Rashford snatched the momentum back. Like when he moved over to that left-hand side, he like there was a 5 minute spell right in the game, 5 to 7, where he was just absolutely electric. And I was like, whoa, like this is like 19-year-old Marcus, like with no fear, no second guessing himself. He had the cool and calm finish, right? Past Allison. And for that, and then even in the first half, right? I thought that he ran the channels really well. The runs he made, dragging Van Dijk out of position, dragging Gomez out of position. He did really well in those. Like, obviously, there's still things he can improve on. Maybe certain decisions he could do better. But I just thought that if he didn't have that 5 to 7 minute spell where he really was electric and he really was making things difficult for Liverpool, I don't know if we recover, right? In terms of they could have scored sooner. They could have scored in the 65th, 70th minute if we didn't have that spell from Marcus, right? So I gotta give him his just due for that. I've been so hard on Marcus Rashford. I still have my questions about him, right? But that like it genuinely warmed my heart to see him playing that way. There's not one performance from last season. I mean, there's not one performance from last season that was as good as the one he had today. So I got to give him his just due. Scored the go ahead goal, or the goal to put it up 2-0 and give us some cushion. I got to give him an 8. Mark, what about you?
I'll say a 7. And
Mm,
similar to Sancho in a sense where he wasn't really involved and like Van Dijk didn't really have to like do much against him, but
mm,
he was important for us in a sense where he was an outlet. So the way Liverpool played, like they were willing to sort of like push Robertson and Trent forward, and he always kept sort of like Gomez or Van Dijk kind of honest and on their toes. Um, and also he also got a goal as well. But I thought he was better when he was on the left. I thought he caused a lot more problems when he was on the left. When he was up front, I was like, it's
I
not
agree. I agree.
the ball's not sticking, and like he is a focal point in terms of like us getting out. But Liverpool had that period where sort of between like 25 minutes and half time where they were just sort of like they kept coming at us or kept coming at us. And anytime like we got the ball, like um our only sort of answer or solution to things was trying to hit Marcus Rashford like on the break, but it's just like it was sort of not sticking. So
Right.
again, it's not necessarily his fault, but yeah, he did well, and he got his goal, so 7.
Yep. So 2 7s and an 8 for Marcus Rashford. On the left hand side, Anthony Elanga. Mark, I'll start with you.
Um, 6,
Hmm.
6.
6, 6, 6,
I'll say
6.
like 'cause I'll say he's honest. He was honest, but and he sort of attacked the space as well. But at the end of the day, you just need quality in everything you do.
Mm,
For me, I think he just lacks that quality.
hmm No,
So,
that's that.
but he got the assist. He got the assist.
He did. He did. That's fair. That's fair. Hammer, what about you? What would you give Elanga today?
Yeah, I'll agree with the 6. Should have scored. I think everybody thinks he should have scored. I don't know what's up with him. I feel like I'm not saying he's hit the post a bunch, but I feel like he's had opportunities when he plays where he should have,
Hmm.
he should have a few more goals than he does.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'll give him 6. He wasn't terrible, and like you said before, in terms of like with McCollum, right, it's a little above average, and he had some spells in there in the first half where he was given, God damn it, what's his name? He was had him
Trent,
in
or was it? Yeah, it was Trent.
with Trent. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he had him in a blender a few times, and I
Hmm.
think he got him a yellow card too, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
So yeah, he didn't play bad, but he didn't play. He didn't do anything amazing, and of course, should have had the goal. So
Yeah, I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna be a little. I'm gonna give him a 6.5. I think that again, what is he? 19? Is he 19 years old,
I think he
or is
might
he
be 20
20?
by now.
He might be 20. I can't remember,
Yeah.
but
I can't remember either.
I think people are really hard on some of these young players now because we've been so bad that we need people to blame a lot of the time. And you know, if Elanga's playing in a team that has tons and tons of quality and you're not asking so much of him, you probably see him a lot less. Is he the most talented player? No. I am. I raise my hand up and I say that. I understand that. But he does. I do think he does the basics well. Like I do think he's always in the right positions. I think he tracks back well. He plays more of like a midfielder to me because he does do the hard yards. He does do the hard work. He plays like a left midfielder to me, right? Um, Mind you, he got a goal contribution in one half of play. He could have had 2 goal contributions. So he's in the positions. He's doing the things that you really want him to do, but he doesn't. Like he needs that little bit of stardust, right? Can he develop that stardust in time to like have a long Manchester United career? I don't know, but I'm not. When I see Elenga on the team sheet, I'm not. I'm not angry. I'm not like, oh my God, we're playing this kid. Like I like no, like because I know what I'm getting from him, right? Will the quality be there? We'll see. Let's see him develop. Let's see him improve. Whatever
I'll
the
save
case
you
may
the
be.
time. I'll save you the time and trouble. He's not going to get any better.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that.
We'll
What is
see. He's
what,
young. He's
what
young. I want to. I
game?
want to. I want to give him. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
well, I'll take it on a different angle from Mark. I think Ten Hag has some people who's catching his eye, and some of even younger people. Garnacho, as an example. I'm not. By the
Mhm,
way, we haven't seen him do anything, but like Alanga might also only have limited amount of time to show that he's going
mhm.
to improve if he is going to improve.
Right. Right. Fair enough. Mark, I think most people agree with you on that. Like, I think people think this is his ceiling. I would say, like, let's be a little more patient with him. Let's be a little more patient with him. Anthony Martial. Wow, what a way to announce yourself back into the team. He has to get a minimum 7.5, in my opinion, minimum.
Yeah.
Maybe an 8. You know what? I'm going to give him an 8 because the way no one in our team can do what he does. And I don't think people like when I used to say this stuff, like I would like Hammer knows, I used to say this stuff on all for United all the time. Like no one in the team can hold the ball up the way he holds the ball up. It's not even close. Ronaldo can't do that. Like Ronaldo can't do that. Can Marcus Rashford do it? No. Like it's such a critical part of the game that I feel like most fans refuse to understand. Like I just don't think they get it, right? For you to put a defender on your back, turn that defender, and then make a pass it's invaluable. Drawing fouls, invaluable. Like these are little things. He might not score the goals all the time, but look at the way he turned Van Dijk for the goal, right? Like it's quality football, and that's the football I like to watch. I'm gonna give him an 8. I thought he was wonderful. Uh, Hardly put a foot wrong. Worked hard. When Ronaldo came into the game, he got put on the right, which we never see, and he just worked the socks off. He just worked the socks off. So I'm gonna give him an 8 for 45 minutes of good hard work. Hammer, what about you?
I was gonna give him a 7.5 as well, but shit, I think he convinced me a little bit on the 8. You know what I mean? But like, no, yeah, he played well, and I do remember you talking about that on AFU. Yeah, I don't, there's not many people, if any, in that attacking position who can do it to the level that he can do it.
You're right.
Um, I think for Martial, the question now is, I think a little bit of health, but also consistency. Like,
Mm,
we got to see you if you're gonna. And I don't know. well, actually, I guess we'll talk about him because he came on the last few minutes. But that spot, if we don't get somebody in, that spot might be open.
Mm,
Because if Ronaldo can't do the way that Ten Hag wants him to do it, it'll be open.
yeah. And I want to, before Mark goes, I want to point out that Ten Hag said before the game, he said, we've been missing our number 9, right?
Mm.
Who is he talking about there? Because Ronaldo's been playing, right? He's talking about Martial. I think Martial in Ten Hag's eyes is like a critical part of his project, at least in the short term. So we'll see what happens. But Mark, what would you give Martial today?
8.
Mm,
An 8. I think what he brings to us in terms of that hold up play and the ability to link things is invaluable, like you said. He worked hard as well. The only thing that I need from him is more selfishness.
mm,
That chance that I know he tried to knock it back for Van der Beek and whatnot, and
mm.
I know it's fine margins. Allison gets a touch on it, but go around the keeper, man. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
I think
you want
I
the
think it got
ball.
away from him a little bit. I think that's
Yeah,
probably why
I
he
think
got.
I think his touch was just a little,
Yeah,
just like maybe like just a little bit too heavy.
yeah,
Remember that goal against Watford, right? Remember what he did against
yeah.
Watford?
Yeah, yeah.
One of the best goals I've ever seen at Manchester United. But like, no, that's I see what you're saying. I agree with that. Sometimes I used to think about that about Paul too. Sometimes I'm like, Paul, just shoot. You know what I mean? Paul Pogba, like, just shoot. And Martial's kind of the same, where it's like he's a Firmino-esque type player, right? He's a poor man's version of Karim Benzema. That's what he is, right?
Yeah,
He's a poor man's version. I used to say this all the time. Like, when he's healthy, he's in that France team. Why? Because no one else at least for the French forwards, France doesn't need a goal scorer. They have wide players that can get you goals. So it's Giroud, it's Martial, but obviously now Benzema is a part of the side. But I see what you're saying, Mark. But for me, it's this is a team game. I don't think we're gonna have a 25, 30 goal a game. You can win. I genuinely believe you can win a league without having a guy who scores 25, 30 goals in the league, right? Like, if you look at some of United's best ever seasons, right? Maybe bar Ronaldo, like the treble season, like I think Dwight York scored 18, 19 goals in the league.
yeah.
Coley was, right around there. The goals can be spread. It's more about the team. Like, for me, I'm adamant that when the team is functioning properly, you will score goals, right? Like, when you have people making the right decision at the right time, goals will be scored. Sancho will score goals if Martial's doing what he needs to do, and if Rashford's doing what he needs to do, and we could spread the wealth, right? We don't need a singular guy. Like, remember when Bruno was scoring tons of goals, right?
Yeah.
Did we win anything? Did we win
No,
anything in the big games? Where was he? Nowhere to be found. So, like, it's not, for me, it's not about, oh, I need a 30 goal a game score, a seasoned guy. I need the team to function better. And I believe we have a really good manager. I think we have, if we get a couple more signings and we have a baseline to work from, now we just have to wait and see. I don't want to give the other subs a score. Who else came on? Was it Van de Beek?
Fred.
Ronaldo. They came on really late. We can just give them washes, right?
Well, real quick, I was going to mention on the Ronaldo part. I was getting him a grade. I was talking with one of my friends during the game and stuff, and he looked. I think before you said he did have some moments where he could have done something, but he looked not
Pissed.
obviously not. Yeah, he looked not happy being
Disinterested.
benched.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my friend said, and I kind of agree with him to an extent. If we won against Liverpool like we did today, that could potentially mean Ronaldo is on the way out.
Right. I completely agree. He looked pissed on the bench. I get it. Obviously, he has the pride. No one has more pride in the world than that man, right? And I would too if I was him, right? I'm a pretty cocky guy, and I haven't done half of what he's done, so like I get it, right? It's understandable, and even when he came on the pitch, I didn't like the energy. I didn't like the. But he had his moments, right? He's still going to try and get his goal. So when the ball progressed, he tried to get his goals. It's a weird one, man. It's a weird one. We play better without him. We did play better without him today. That's undeniable. We'll see what happens this window. That being said, I want to emphasize this. we're not done. The Glazers need to leave. Obviously, it was a great performance. Casemiro was introduced today. Maybe Gakpo, maybe Anthony, right? We'll see what happens. Maybe another midfielder, but the message is still the same, right? Like, we need these owners gone. We need these owners gone. There were some protests, some ugly protests I didn't like, right? I saw some fans throwing stuff at the team bus. That's very distasteful to me, man. I'm not a proponent of that. I'm a proponent of peaceful, healthy protest.
Wait,
But
like any team bus? Because I think it was Liverpool bus.
was it Liverpool's bus? I thought it was. I thought it
Yeah.
I
was.
heard.
Oh,
It
okay.
wasn't, or it was.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was. I thought it was United's team bus. I don't know, but
No. Liverpool.
I don't know. Maybe I'm less inclined to be as mad about that. But you know what I mean? Yeah, it's an interesting one, guys. Ten Hag, that's the last one we'll do, and we'll have to round up here, guys. We're over almost at 1 hour and 10 minutes, but it was a great conversation, guys. What a stream! What a way to end the day. Eric Ten Hag, what would you give him, Mark?
8.
8. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Hama?
Yeah, I'll go with 8 as well.
I'll go 8.5. Just to be different. I thought he managed the game really well. Great performance, man, by the team. Now we can kick on. I don't know who we face next. Is it Arsenal that we face next?
Southampton.
Or is it Southampton? Ooh, that's an interesting one. We can score some goals
Actually,
against
screw it.
them.
I'm gonna give him an 8 on 5 for dropping an F-bomb on TV.
Oh yeah. You got it. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, Southampton. We can score some goals against them now. Like, that team is that team will let you score some goals. So Saturday we're back to it, guys. We have a long week of streams as always. What is tomorrow? Tuesday? Will I be streaming tomorrow? I probably will stream tomorrow at 7 a.m., 12 p.m. 12 p.m. British time. Guys, get your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to follow my brothers here. Show them some love. Appreciate it, guys, as always. And we will talk to you guys very, very shortly, okay? Deuces.